Christina Mitchell,
Hi.
joining us from her cute little bunker at her house. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Christina is joining us today because we've been doing this series about careers, and one of the things that leads to a career is an awesome internship. And Christina has done a very awesome internship. I want you to tell us about what you did, and then we're going to ask you how in the world did you get that, because it is a cool opportunity. So tell us about your internship.
Okay, well, this goes back a couple of years. 2 summers ago, summer 2018, I took an internship at NASA Glenn Research Center, working with their technology transfer office. Had a great summer.
And is
Decided
that in Texas?
that's in Ohio.
Ohio, okay.
hmm I decided 100% had to go back and work at NASA again. So I took an internship in the fall term, fall 2019, with NASA Goddard Space Flight Center, working in their communications office. Another wonderful experience, and opened the door to me to go to NASA Johnson Space Center this semester, where I worked with their multimedia team for the International Space Station.
Neat. So what all did you do there?
Which location?
In this last one, let's talk about the last section. What did you do there?
Okay, so my primary job was working on down-to-earth videos. I don't know if you've seen that NASA series, but it's basically interviews with astronauts with like imagery from their space flights mixed in over top of the interview itself.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
you go through the interview, you find really phenomenal quotes, which is incredibly difficult because there are so many wonderful quotes. So I produced one that got released in February, or was it March? It got released in March. The video that Nick Hake did,
Okay.
called "Tip of the Iceberg."
I actually watched that one. It was cool.
Yeah, it was a really fun project to work on. So from there, I started working on another series that it hasn't been published or anything yet, so it's still in the production phases. But I cut about a dozen episodes for that.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
and unfortunately, when COVID struck, we shut down the center, and I came back to Virginia, so I wasn't able to cut any more episodes. So I mostly stayed on keeping track of metrics and stuff.
Right. Oh, well, that's all right then. So you still have been doing some of your internship, just not what you planned on.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
And
I think you
when
were
I
saying
was
that part of the problem was you didn't have access to the archival footage, right?
right, because you had to be hardwired in at a NASA facility,
Right.
which was
Right.
impossible.
Well, so would you say that this was a beneficial internship?
Oh, absolutely. Um, I made some connections while I was down there, uh, discovered a lot of different things, um, and I got to know some of their contractors a little bit, and I ended up applying to another summer internship with a contractor called Jacobs, um, which I was able to get that internship, so I'll be able to start that in June, working
Hmm.
with their technology transfer office and the astronaut photography office.
Well, that's cool. Well, good. But you're also going to graduate school, right?
Yes, I am currently a grad student working on a master's in psychology.
How many hours are in your day? Because I'm thinking you just mentioned more than 24 based on what you're doing.
It varies a lot on whether or not I have a paper due that day.
Well, all right. So I want you to tell the story about how you got this or how you found out about this internship. Because when I wrote the story about you, I questioned it because I thought you were kidding or that I'd misunderstood. But tell us how you found out about this cool internship with NASA.
Okay, well, this was 3 summers ago. Summer 2017, I went over to Wise County for the Appalachian Fair. Was going to meet a friend there. My friend had other things to go do, so I ended up wandering around and I discovered a trailer that had been set up by NASA Langley, celebrating Langley's centennial, because the Langley Research Center does predate NASA.
Oh, right, right. Mm-hmm.
So, I ended up spending a couple of hours there talking to the representatives from Langley, just discussing, science, physics, astronomy, engineering concepts, various different things. And they asked me what my major was. I said, well, I'm a psychology criminology major. And they said, okay, you need to change your major and come work for us.
Well, that's a nice endorsement.
It is. So I was just like, what are you talking about? So they told me about internships, intern.nasa.gov. And they said, go on here, apply, and see what comes your way. Because, if something will happen. So I started getting work experience on campus and, really worked hard after I changed my major.
Well, I guess so, yeah. What year was it when you changed your major?
I was going into my junior year.
Yeah, that's tricky.
Yeah. I still graduated in 3 years.
Wow.
So
Seriously, how many hours are in your day?
probably more than there should be most
I'm
days.
thinking you get a couple extra from the rest of us. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
So I went on there and I applied. You can only apply for 15 per term. So I applied for 15. I had an interview, didn't get that position. I was just like, oh man, like I guess I'm not going to get a NASA internship. I didn't really expect to get one anyway. But I ended up getting an email out of the blue from NASA Glenn. Hey, you've been offered this internship. So I was just like, okay. So I clicked accept, went. It was a phenomenal time.
Wow. Well, and I love that story because I just love that you went to the county fair and got an internship at NASA. That just makes me happy all over. So and you're saying that these internships are available to students now, and so you're sort of
Exactly.
living proof that it can happen.
Yeah, you do not have to be a STEM student to go in and apply. You can be psychology, you can be communications, you can be any type of science, engineering. Like, it's not just for STEM students, and that's what I think a lot of people don't realize about
Mm-hmm.
NASA. Like,
I would think that.
it takes all kinds to do it.
Yeah.
So any undergrad or graduate student can apply. Even like doctors can apply.
Oh,
If you're in a doctor program, like, because they need medical expertise working with
that
astronauts,
makes sense.
designing spacesuits and such.
Yeah.
So really anyone can apply. You have to have a 3.0 GPA. They like to have a little bit of work experience, 3 letters of recommendation. Submit your resume, fill out some boxes on why you want to work at NASA, and click apply on as many as you can.
Well, what did you use for work experience? Did working on campus count toward that?
Yeah. I worked with the White Topper. I wore several hats there for my last 2 years, and I wore several hats with EHCTV for my last couple years. I worked in the Ampersand Center my last fall semester, and I was an SI my last spring semester.
Wow.
So all that counted.
Sure. That's funny. This is the second one of these interviews where the white topper, maybe third, where the white topper experience has been mentioned. So that's good experience for folks.
Yeah, the White Topper experience, I think, probably propelled me in this process more than anything else, because I was the business manager for the White Topper.
Oh, wow.
Um, so, that experience really gave me a lot of like planning and coordinating, which a lot of planning and coordinating has gone into all of my internships, from planning the inventor recognition ceremony at Glenn, and coordinating media events at Goddard.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, and you were saying that you're still doing some work uh, through your internship. Is that right?
I was until today.
Oh,
Today was
oh.
my last day.
Oh, okay.
I did my exit presentation this morning, so.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
Well, that's cool. Are you sad to see it go?
Yeah, but I'm going to be back over summer, so.
Oh, okay, good.
just in a different office.
Tell us about the program that well, let me back up. One of the things that made an impression on me was that when you got sort of sent home because of COVID, you were like, yeah, I'm going to do my master's degree now. It's like you just like jumped into the next thing. So tell us briefly about the master's program that you're in.
Okay, well, I graduated from Emory and Henry in August, and I hadn't taken any classes. So I started to get a little bored. So I said, okay, time to start my master's degree. So, just I found a program that I could just jump in at my own pace. It's a master's in psychology, focusing on industrial organizational psychology, which is essentially management.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I've just been working through that. I plan to finish up my first class next week
Oh, good.
and just keep going. Should be
You
able
were
to graduate in
barreling.
about a year.
Yeah, you were barreling through. Well, and I said that I was gonna make you, be wise and say, what are the kinds of things that you would say to students who right now are finishing up college and thinking about trying to figure out how to maneuver this interesting situation they're in? What might be your best advice for folks right now?
My best advice is to pick up hobbies. Find things that you really love doing, and I guarantee that there's a job out there that matches it. Just
Interesting.
pick up the hobbies, do what you love, and then chase that. You don't have to have it all figured out right away. Nobody does.
Well, I
Um,
love that. And I love that you're talking about sort of finding this is a chance to find your passion a little bit, where it leads.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, good for you. Well, you're very wise to be 10 years old now. So no, I know you're not 10. But anyway, you're very wise to be a very recent graduate, and we are so grateful that you would take the time to talk with us about this today. If you're willing, we're going to list your contact information for folks who might want to ask more questions about this internship.
Absolutely.
Great.
I'm more than happy to talk to anybody who has any questions, anybody who may want to apply. I'm glad to walk anyone through the process.
Fantastic. And we have somebody else on the line. Let's see if maybe Angela, if you might have a question for Christina before we wrap up. I don't want to cut anybody off. We might want to, not going to put you on the spot, but if you wanted to ask something. I'm going to take that as a no. All right. Well, good. Well, Christina, thank you so much for this. And we're going to link folks to the story we did about you and
Okay.
also to the contact information you gave me and that information,
Mhm.
that story about how to apply for the internship. And then we'll put your contact information in case there are additional questions. How about that?
That sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for doing this. And you tell other people that when I call, it's not scary. It's very fun, interesting to do.
I will.